Hello and welcome back. The two friends who love to talk about the markets, what's going on. We are back in action. I'm so excited to welcome my good friend, trusted money coach, Blooming. Welcome back, coach, after a long time. It's been a while, my friend.
Gosh, I've really missed you. I've missed everyone. This weekly podcast has just been a good break. Let me put it that way. It's been a good
Yes.
break.
And the markets don't take breaks, except when
Mm-hmm.
it's weekend, but still there are other commodities that trade 24/7, like cryptocurrencies, right? So
Yes.
at any given moment, some people are getting money, some people are losing money. That's just the way it is. So today, as usual, I'm super excited to be catching up with my friend and breaking down some trends and insights about the market and particularly things that are happening, including the taco trades, what's happening in the bond markets, and what we see in the investment landscape. My friend, do you wanna, put us to speed? What have you been up to? Have you been making a lot of money so much that you didn't have to create content anymore?
At some point in time during the 2 weeks break or 3 weeks break that I took, it was just a way for me to just reflect on my investment strategy for the year
Yeah.
and some of the things that I want to shift or just remove from my portfolio. But it's been a good year so far.
Mhm.
And we can see even right from the April lows, the market has already started to rebound, which is good.
Yes.
So again, I'm just happy about how the market has been doing so far. It's still crazy, it's still volatile, but we are no longer in the April lows anymore. And this
Yes.
always goes back to time in the market beats time in the market. And yeah, I've just been really excited that we've been part of the market, just participating and seeing how things unfold, whether it's tariff or we're saying, oh, there is a
Mhm.
geopolitical tension or whatever that is going on. It
Yes.
just means that if we're a student of the market, we're going to be good provided we participate and stay long term. So, yeah.
That's fantastic. So I would say, so are there some lessons that you have been learning? On my part, I would say it's interesting when you are actually researching and doing the theoretical part, but when the market actually then drops to implement what you have been waiting for, it can be
Yes.
challenging mentally. But I think when the market dropped in April, I was so excited and I made a bit of money, I will be quite honest.
Right.
And but I know psychologically when I was buying Microsoft, Apple, when they were dropping, psychologically I was like, what am I doing? And then I thought about Warren Buffett. He was like, if you really know the stock and understand, of course there could be some room for error. You should be excited when the stock is
Yes.
dropping. So that was it. Now, how did you feel about it? And I know I have been doing a bit of, actually most of my portfolio, like right now I've shifted towards trading, even though I still have some long-term holds, and I've been doing relatively well in my trading using the strategies that I share on the channel.
Yeah, I think for me personally, I'm still more of a long-term investor, even though I still sell covered calls, which is just a way to still generate income on the same asset that I plan on holding for long term. But that's pretty much what I've been doing, just DCing over time and keep selling covered calls just to generate more income and then plow that into the long step, so into the stocks that I plan on holding for the long term. But when
Yes.
the market dipped, I think that was around the time that Buffett also had the annual shareholders meeting. So, and I
Yes.
listened, and when you hear a 94-year-old person that has been investing for over 60 years share some of this nugget, it just gives you a lot
Perfect.
of confidence, right? So even when you hear Buffett talk, he has made some mistakes too, but overall, in the bigger picture, he's done fantastically well in the market. So when we had the April lows, I was happy. I was
Believe
buying.
you me and our audience, you will always make mistakes as a trader or
Yes.
as an investor. I think always something that we also share here is like these are just two friends. Whatever we discuss here is not supposed to be taken as investment advice, it's just for educational purposes. And what we do is we are doing it with our own money, right? And we are doing things that we are comfortable with. Now, if you want, one-on-one coaching, I know my friend Blooming is fantastic. We coach people. I was watching this other guy on I won't mention his name on YouTube, and He was saying, look, the worst mistake that you can do as a beginner investor is to just jump in without educating yourself. So he was like,
Yeah.
give me some money, a little bit of your money, and I coach you because I've been doing this for a couple of years and I have a track record, right? Because if
Yes.
you just jump in, believe you me, you are going to most likely lose a lot of money to the market, because there are a lot of retail traders who lose the money, who get smoked. Why? Because they just jump in. So, do you have specific strategies that you have been employing? And I'll be happy to share my insights as well in that.
Yeah, I think I usually get the same question to that. Hey, Blooming, what are you buying? And tell me what to buy. And I'm like, you haven't trained yourself yet. You haven't trained yourself emotionally on how to participate in the market. And like I always like to say that like 90% of investing is really how you handle it
Yeah.
emotionally, but 10% is just numbers. So a lot of people just care about the numbers, but I'm like, if you don't take care of the 90%, and when you invest your money and the portfolio drops 30 or 40%, you're going to panic and you're going to sell. And that's where the education comes in. But apart from that, it's just really to learn. If you're a student
Yeah,
of the market and you're curious, right? Because the market keeps changing, but
that's
if you just stay relevant and keep learning, you're gonna be good and just stay long term. It's so ridiculously simple. Just DC it into quality companies and let the thing grow. Just leave it.
I watched the video also. I do a lot of, research and stuff because I'm so passionate about this. And there was this guy who was explaining it. I agreed with him. He's like, if you had been dollar cost averaging in the S&P 500, let's say with a 20-year time horizon, the probability of losing money, at least historically, is zero, right?
Mhm.
But again, I will say, but there are a lot of people who lose money because they were lost decades. There are years, maybe a decade or somewhere when the market was down. But if you kept on adding shares,
Yeah,
over time, again, there's a caveat there. The past does not necessarily reflect that it's gonna repeat in the future. So, what
right.
am I doing myself? I use cash secured puts and covered calls options trading. Basically, for
Mhm.
my trading account, as I've been sharing now, I think I know it's over 50%. And the S&P 500, which is a broad indicator for most investors, is like 2%. So I'm beating it. At least for me, that's my benchmark, right?
Yep.
But I am very defensive in my approach. But I have some stocks that I buy and hold, and I've been
Mhm.
just doing research, understanding their valuation. I look at the cash and cash equivalents. I like businesses with cash and cash equivalents.
Mhm.
For me, that's very important. Zero to very little long-term debt and growing free cash flows.
Yep.
And
Yep.
then I can look at the, price to earnings ratio. Anyway, that's something that you can reach out to me or Blooming if you want specific. Now, if you have an emergency fund, and I emphasize this because when the market was dropping, right, people who had
Mhm.
some cash, it means that they deployed capital. That's what I did, right? A lot of people then they panic because it's money for the rent or other bills, and if they see 50% down, then they won't stand it. Like, I want to pay for bills, then they
Yes.
take a hit. So that's something that I would summarize in terms of my strategy. But
I
also,
think when, yeah, okay, go ahead.
yeah, I've also seen some geopolitical risks, the tariffs,
Yes.
right? But I want to see beyond the Trump term, but also understand that over the long term, I think the market will adjust. But I'm looking at specific individual companies that I understand that have dropped and,
Mm-hmm.
averaging down, and also trading those on pullbacks using cash secured puts, and also other option strategies like just calls. You wanted to chime in, my friend?
Yeah, so I think during the April lows, one of the things that even kept me going was just listening to trusted voices. There was a post that I made in the community about Adam's Pool when he said, oh, he has seen something like this before, and he remembered when his portfolio just reached, was he $1 million? Then he went down to 700,000, then he shot back up to 1.5. Now his portfolio is about $18 million. So when you see somebody sharing that, and you can see the track record, it just gives you so much confidence that it's important as an investor to separate the noise again from the signal. We've had so much noise in the market, either it's tariff or the S&P 500 is down or something just going on.
It's
It's
always
just
going
so
to be
important.
something
Yeah, there's
that's
always
going to
going to be
cause volatility.
something that will just weed out the weak hands. And if you are a strong, well, say a strong investor, you just need to be consistent,
And
consistently
mentally,
planting the seed, and you're going to be good over time. So yeah,
yeah. To borrow your word, you say the markets have a way to spook themselves. But we want to wrap up in a bit, but it would be a remiss for us to not talk about Tesla. There was the big,
yes.
I would say, exchange of words between
Mm-hmm.
President Trump and Elon Musk. Uh, are you still bullish on on Tesla? Because yesterday I saw it dropped, but today it's up. I think because I saw the tone between the two powerful,
Yes.
I would say, in a way.
Yeah.
Before it was turning down.
Yeah. So again, I am still bullish on Tesla. The reason being that I separate again the noise
Yeah.
from the signal. I'm looking at the product itself. Do I agree with everything that Elon said? No. Do I agree with how Mr. President dealt with everything? No. But at the same time, if you understand these two individuals, they are fighting for a cause that they really believe in.
Yes.
So irrespective of how they are going to iron this out, I just want to focus on what exactly is this company doing? Are there some risk here? Yes, there is. Political risk, yes. But I
You,
would
sorry
rather
to interject, but
allow,
do you think
yeah,
the risk has increased or decreased because of this? Because I was reading there was the Trump trade, as people pointed
yes.
to say there were stocks that they priced in to say, for example, businesses associated with Mr. Musk, to say
Mm-hmm.
people were assuming that he was going to benefit from contracts, right? And therefore the prices went up because a lot of investors were buying. But what's your
So,
reassessment? You are still
yes.
bullish.
So, as a long-term investor, are there still more risks? Yes. But is it a risk that I'm willing to take on? Yes. But this is not going to work for everybody. And that is why I keep saying that it's important to do your own research.
Yeah,
If you're not confident in your research, if you're not confident in the ability of the company to deliver on whatever it's saying it's selling in the market, then you don't need to be in the company. You don't need to buy the stock. But yesterday, when all of this happened and I was reading on X, I was like, oh my God, Elon, why would you even say this? I had those moments. And I'm just like, oh, you don't have to say everything, like literally. So, but if I just separate that,
yeah.
again, are there still some risks? Can Tesla still go lower? Yes, it can still go lower. And if it goes lower, personally, I will still be buying because I want to reach a certain threshold. I'm still buying other companies. There are still some companies that are on my radar that I
Yes.
haven't even invested in that I want to invest in.
Want
So
more
again,
money? Best.
yeah, so again, this might not work for everybody, but as a long-term investor in Tesla, I keep buying. And the risk is still there, but this is a risk that I'm willing to take on because I'm spending so much time understanding what this company does and separate politics from the company itself.
That's fantastic. And I would just comment that sometimes, as people in the public domain, we may not be privy to other dynamics. So I
Yeah,
just don't want to jump in, but I do
yes,
my assessment as an economist or as just as a global citizen or a retail investor to see, is this something that I see risks? Now,
yes,
I see also increasing geopolitical tension in Ukraine and Russia and in the Middle East. So, what I've done, and this is not to say that's what you should do, I've taken a small hedge in the VIX through the leveraged ETFs that track
ETFs, yes,
the VIX. So, for me, that's it's a small position, but usually in times of elevated volatility, my experience is that I usually get outsized returns. So
yes.
that's something that I've done. But I have a bit of cash which I occasionally use to trade. So that's my strategy. Is there something that you may want to comment? But I know we didn't comment about Bitcoin, but we are running out of time here. Maybe
Yeah,
you want to comment on that and give your
yeah.
closing remarks.
Mm-hmm. I think my stand on Bitcoin is still the same.
Mhm.
Bitcoin in April went as low as $75,000. Today is hovering around $105,000.
I
So, and I was, no, I didn't buy during that period. I've been buying Bitcoin 2020, 2021, and I don't even check my portfolio. It's something I will check maybe in 2030 or 2035. Okay. But I was listening to Kathy Wood, which a lot of people don't really agree with a lot of her research, but I believe in what she's doing. And I think the same thing Larry Fink said maybe several months ago that Bitcoin can get as high as $700,000. Kathy thinks it can get as high as 1.5. While I'm not saying that this is what is going to happen with Bitcoin, I just look at it like as an economist.
yeah.
What is the thesis around Bitcoin? The
It's
supply is
supply.
fixed. It's fixed. And the demand keeps going on. And we're going to be having more institutional adoption. And it's not just the retail investors that are participating in crypto alone. We're seeing companies, institutions, they are participating in Bitcoin, in crypto in general. And I just know if the supply is fixed and the demand keeps going up, the price is going to trend upward. And you can buy any amount. You don't have to buy a whole Bitcoin, just participate in Bitcoin. It's a long-term investment strategy that I think everyone, irrespective of the nation that you are, participate in Bitcoin, buy and hold.
I know
But
you're
this
from
is
that
not
street.
investment advice. It's not investment advice because you can lose your money, but I'm just saying this is what I'm doing. But don't copy me.
Exactly. And coach, please say your parting shots. Is there anything that you would say about our audience in terms of what you see as a parting shot, my friend?
Yeah, so we're going into the second half of the year in about 2 or 3 weeks. If you're not yet participating in the market, educate yourself and start participating because the greatest wealth transfer is happening right underneath our noses, and a lot of people are just sleeping through it. If you're not if you're not yet investing in stock, consider it. If you're not yet investing in digital asset or crypto, participate because why? This is how the rich get richer. We invest in systems and stocks and crypto, these are systems that we use to multiply our wealth over time. And as always, may the market be in our favor.
Trade and invest wisely. And don't forget to subscribe and follow me and my friend here. We will be doing more of these and bring up information. We'll see you in the next video. Until next time, like we always say, trade and invest wisely and make the market be on your side. Bye bye for now, friends.